It is Let's Talk Arts and Entertainment on WMAY. And it is Thursday. It's once again time for State of the Arts with Gus Gordon, joined with Gus. How you doing, Gus?
I'm doing great, Kevin. You good today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's
Good.
it's a little dreary outside, but
Yeah.
it's fine. It's we're doing all right. There's of course been a couple of things theater wise that have had to have been postponed and maybe put off for a bit. I know last week the Muni announced their whole season, but there are a couple of things still coming up around town, including with the Hoagland Center for the Arts, which is the Valentines Day Show. That is coming
Yeah.
up. You just put up the event for that, the Facebook event.
We did. We put together the Facebook event. We're selling tickets now, and they're going really well so far. We'll be doing performances on Friday night. That's February 12th. Saturday night, February 13th, and then, of course, Valentine's Day, Sunday the 14th. It's 7 o'clock each evening. We have 9 fabulous female singers from the local community, the theater community, and they've actually been rehearsing this week, and will be recording on this Friday night. We'll get it all on tape, and then our buddy Jeremy Geckner will be putting together the final show, and we'll have it ready for Friday the 12th. But it's just kind of a very fun, wonderful concert with great love songs sung by some really extraordinary, talented people from our community. So we're really looking forward to putting that together and sharing that with the public, because people might not be able to get out for Valentine's Day like they otherwise would in previous years. So this is a way they can have some great entertainment to watch at home to put them in the mood for love.
Of course. So all nice, all some nice, yes, it's just a nice evening in with your loved one, and yes, that's great.
Right. Hope Cherry, Vanessa Ferguson, Jasmine French, Sarah Geckner, Anna Mason-Bacher, Alyssa Schultz, Mary Kate Smith, Tiffany Williams, Asni Vigasa. Those are our 9 leading ladies.
So yeah, that is the Valentine's Day show. That is going to be great. You guys have another show coming up in the works that you are. It's a one woman show that is being restaged for a couple of days in March. What's
Right. It's going to be a streaming production. We did this show back in 2018. Felicia Coulter, who has been a wonderful leading lady in Springfield, a wonderful dramatic actress, a wonderful comedic actress. She has starred in shows for the past 30 or 40 years. Just fantastic. For us in 2018, she did a very challenging one-woman show about Dr. Ruth Westheimer. Many of you're probably too young, Kevin, to remember Dr. Ruth, but she's this tiny little wonderful German Jewish sex therapist who was widely popular in the 80s. And she's really going to be fantastic. Felicia has done this show before and is very funny. It's a very touching show. And it's very interesting because for people who just saw Dr. Ruth on television or as a guest star on a TV show, and she was so cute and feisty and funny with that thick accent that she had, talking about, things that most grandmas didn't talk about on television. But she had a fascinating backstory about her struggles, growing up. And she had been a sniper in the Israeli army, I believe. So it's really an incredible journey from fleeing the Nazis in Kindertransport and joining the Haganah in Jerusalem as a sniper to her struggle to succeed as a single mother newly arrived in America. It's just a fascinating play talking about her history. And it just goes to show you when you see these personalities on television, frequently there's a real backstory there that can be even more fascinating than what you see on the screen. And I think that's the case with this show. Felicia did a fantastic job. It's hard to do a one-person show, and she was just the person to do this. And we're thrilled to be able to tape it and make it available as a streaming production so people have another chance to see her fantastic work and really learn a little bit more about a pop culture phenomenon, Dr. Ruth, who was just a fascinating character in and of herself. And that will be performed on the following dates. We have 3 performance dates. This is a scheduled performance. So that means both shows are
Yep.
scheduled. The Valentine's Day show, the 12th, the 13th, and 14th of February at 7 o'clock each night. It's an hour long, but that means you've got to tune in at 7 o'clock. You buy your tickets at Showtix for You. It sends you an email. When you get the email and right at showtime, you click that
Yep.
link. It'll take you to the site. It's very easy. And then same thing with Dr. Ruth. And those dates are as follows. They are Friday, March 19th, Saturday, March 20th, and Sunday, March 21st at 7 o'clock each night. And really worthwhile to check. Just a fabulous performance by a local actress who has a rich history herself here in the community.
Awesome. All right. Yes, definitely want to catch both of those. Put those on your calendar. Make sure that you get some time because yes, you do have to watch those when they air, just like you would going to see a show. So
Exactly.
make sure that you're able to catch those. Also, another local talent who is putting on a show this weekend, a virtual show, is Stella Cole, who she now lives in Chicago, but she's been in several productions here in Springfield. I was in Peter Pan with her a while back, and I know she's been in a couple of shows at the Hoagland.
Right.
And
She
so
was in, our production of Godspell. She was in our production of Steel Magnolias and a show called The Little Years. And she starred in The Secret Garden out at Theater in the Park years ago and
Yep.
was a wonderful Mary Lennox. My daughter was in that show. Amy played Martha, the maid, and she and Stella got to be friends at that time. And Stella has gone on to great success. She's a student at Northwestern, and she's really done some amazing vocal work on TikTok. And now she's doing a concert this weekend, and I really encourage people to check her out. She's a very talented young lady, and you'll be able to say, boy, I remember her when.
yes.
She's going to be a star someday.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Yeah, I talked with her recently, and we're gonna have some information about where you can find her on Spotify and other places. That information is probably gonna be about tomorrow. Probably put that out. But yeah, that concert is this weekend. It's $5, and it is worth it. She is
really
very
is.
talented, and it's gonna be a great show.
She sounds, she has a very rich singing voice, and she does a lot of the standards from, the 40s and 50s and a lot of Broadway songs. And she has this great ability to really make you feel like you're listening to a singer from that era. She really has all the nuance and the skill set to really bring that warmth from that era back. And she does a fantastic job. And I know folks will enjoy listening to her. And that's another great option for some beautiful music.
Yes, absolutely. Before we jump into some of the national things, talking about the Golden Globes coming up, also want to remind people that they can order their food online for the Springfield Area Arts Council is doing their Hearts for the Arts. It's a fundraiser. Nelson's Catering is helping them out with it. They're having 2 dinners that you can buy, and you can pick them up from 3 to 5 on the 14th. But you can order those online, and also online you will be able to get a ticket, and then you can win a backyard barbecue once we can be open more and have places open, and you will be able to get that. So that information is also at WMAY.com, or you can also go to their Facebook page. It's there too, the Springfield Area Arts Council. So,
and Kevin, I'd like to mention that if people can support the Arts Council, that would be very much appreciated. They are a great organization,
yes.
and they truly make it possible for all the other nonprofits to do their work and to succeed in their mission. So Sheila Walk is the interim executive director. She's been in that position for years, and she is dynamite. She's a very talented, very dedicated person.
Yes.
And I really encourage folks to support the Springfield Area Arts Council because they support everybody else. They support all the other nonprofit arts groups. And Sheila is a wonderful advocate and cheerleader and supporter. So we encourage you to help out the Arts Council because they are so vital to our local arts community.
Yes, they are. They absolutely are. So with the Golden Globes came out recently, something that honestly I'd forgotten. It's usually a bigger deal, but I'm just like, I didn't really know about when they came out. It's not something that was even on my res. So many other things are going on today with everybody that we're just like,
Sure.
You don't know. But a couple musicals got nominated. Hamilton, which Hamilton was released as a movie. I sort of see it in my head as like the filmed version of Sweeney Todd or
Right.
something like that, where they literally filmed the show, which is what they did with Hamilton. But it was Hamilton the movie, and because it was released and they had all like huge numbers on Disney Plus with it, it's it's a movie. So
Right.
it's up for Best Picture. Lin-Manuel Miranda's up for Best Actor, and then also The Prom has a couple of nominations.
Right. They're up for Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy, too.
Yes.
That's the category that Hamilton's also in. And then James Corden is up for the Best Musical or Best Performance by an Actor in a Musical or Comedy, along with Sacha Baron Cohen for Borat's subsequent movie film.
Oh, my goodness,
and
yes.
Death Cal and Andy Samberg. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I kind of think it'd be great if Lin-Manuel Miranda won for Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't win the Tony Award. Leslie Odom Jr. won the Tony Award, I believe.
Yeah.
So it'd be great if he got some acting recognition, too, because he is the backbone behind that phenomenon. And he was, of course, awarded with, score and writing and all of that. But he's a dynamite performer, too, and I kind of hope he wins for that.
Yeah, no, that would be great, because that's when you look at the credits for the show, it's like, starring Lin-Manuel Miranda,
Right.
written by, directed by,
by.
it's everything. So it's just
Exactly.
no, that would be great. That'd be great to see. And I think that's we're seeing now more and more musicals are being filmed like Hamilton. I mean, I think there's probably always been some professionally shot musicals that they can't, that are archival that they can't really release. But,
Right.
Supposedly this month, Aladdin is coming out on Disney Plus. I don't know if it's still for this month. Come From Away is being filmed.
Right.
That's going to be released, which will
And
be
I believe
really
that's
cool.
going to be with the original Broadway cast, which will be wonderful to see.
Yeah. So I think people are catching on that, because the argument, and I mean, there's of course some legal union stuff that it's hard to
Right.
paying people certain for every performance what constitutes that and everything. But I think people are realizing that if you put something on a streaming service like Hamilton, I mean, I love seeing Hamilton with the original cast in that movie, but I still want to see it live on stage when it tours or wherever it is. If it's anyway, I mean, people still want to love to go see live theater, and I think these streaming performances are they're helping, and I'm glad that more music looks like more musicals are getting filmed and released that way.
With Hamilton, that was intended to be a theatrical release, to be exclusively in movie theaters before the pandemic. And then, of course, with the pandemic, they decided to premiere it on Disney Plus, and maybe it premiered in a couple of theaters to still be eligible for awards. But a lot of the streaming shows were taped in London because the rules are a little less stringent with the unions over there. So, we saw The King and I, but it was taped in London. We saw Kinky Boots, it was recorded in London. And the same thing, I think, with Aladdin. We're not going to see the Broadway cast. We'll see the original London cast of Aladdin, which is still great, and they're still wonderful performers. But it's just easier to cut through some of the red tape, I believe, and that's why we're seeing some of the London productions released for streaming or on PBS Great Performances or for, Amazon Prime or whatever. But I'm just grateful that we have those because you know what? I'm going to watch the movie version of Hamilton when that is eventually released, when it's a full-fledged movie. That's still going to happen. But, when movies are made out of Broadway shows, we frequently say, oh, gosh, why did they replace this Broadway star with this movie actor who is not as good as the original Broadway star? So with Hamilton, the staged production, we got to see all those original performances that can't be beat. And some of them might do the subsequent movie film version to play on Borat there. But, some parts might be recast. But we got to see the originals. And I think you're exactly right. I don't think this is going to diminish the people who want to see it live and in person, because it is an event. And it is thrilling when you see it in person.
Yeah, which I almost got to see it in person. My tickets were for last May.
Yeah.
So
down in St. Louis at the Fox.
Yeah,
we had those too. That I don't even know. I don't know if we got our money back or if they were just postponed or it's right now.
I actually don't remember if they. I mean, I think they still plan to do the show. I honestly don't know, so I'm not going to put that information out there. But yeah, I mean, anyway, still, even when if Hamilton comes back around, I'm still going to go see it, whether it's the same tickets or not. So, or at least I'm going to try to, because those tickets are hard to get. But
yeah, and they're expensive too.
yeah,
Well, you know, I think what will happen is once it is safe for everyone to go back, I think you're going to see just even bigger demand for shows like that
oh
because
yeah,
people have been stir crazy for so long, and they might have watched it a dozen times on Disney Plus, but they'll want to see it in person. I have a friend who is in the Broadway production of Chicago, a guy that I worked with over at the Little Theater on the Square a couple of years ago, and he's been the swing performer for the roles of Mary Sunshine and for Amos, and he's been saying they can't wait to get back, and Chicago is the kind of production that they'll be able to put back pretty quickly
oh yeah,
because they have just all these actors who have done the show across the country who are available and ready to go, and there's not a lot of set work that has to be done. It's
oh.
just they have to fumigate the theater and
And
get all the rats out.
put the band on stage, and that's like it, and dress up in black. I mean, that's how the production that's
Exactly.
how it is. So they could put that one on pretty easily. It'd be great. I mean,
I agree. I think it'll happen pretty
easily. Dancing and everything. It's still a really tough show, but
right.
Yeah.
I had an acquaintance I was talking with about what's happening on Broadway,
Yeah.
and those buildings were just shut up. The doors were locked, so the sets have been remaining on stage, the costumes, and some of those theaters are really, really old.
Yeah.
So a lot of them deal with rodent issues and things like that. So that's something they're going to have to deal with, is getting them back to normal again. The nature has kind of taken over in some places, I think, for those buildings that haven't had people in them. But we don't think about things like that. And we've had similar. We've had more action in the Hoagland, but we've had our pest control company coming in just to make sure, because when people aren't around as much, there can be a real problem. So that's something you don't even think about when getting prepared to reopen, is you've got to deal with a lot of nuts and bolts kind of issues that aren't at all glamorous to be prepared to greet the public once again. And again, we haven't had any major issues at the Hoagland because we've had people there, and we've had our company come in to stay on top of that. But a lot of buildings, have to really pay attention to that, especially older buildings.
Right. So, that is.
Way I took us off the field with that one.
No, but that's an interesting point though, because it's not something it seems obvious, but it's not something that I thought of at all. Because I'm just like, well, the shows aren't in there, so they're just. But I didn't think, a lot of especially in New York, a lot of those buildings have been there since they were built
100 years ago, and that's a running joke that a lot of these kids get out of young adults get out of college with these beautiful performing arts centers, and they're lucky enough to make it to Broadway. And the outside of the theater and the stage looks great, but you get down into the dressing rooms and they're disgusting. It's not as glamorous as you think it is. And I've had several people that I've talked to over the years saying, it is not what you think it is. It is not the glamorous lifestyle that's portrayed in the movies from the 40s. It's very different than that.
Right. Yep. Well, so that is interesting. That's something that they're going to be dealing with, but it's they got time to deal with it. So
they do, and they'll know when their reopening is going to happen, so they'll have plenty of time to take care of that. Last I heard, I think Broadway was reopening in June. They haven't readjusted that yet. I'm sure they're going to readjust it again. I can't imagine they won't.
Yeah. I guess that's if everybody follows all the mitigations and the vaccine goes out as quickly into as many people as possible.
Right.
If is carrying a lot of weight there. So you don't know.
Well, I think the problem is, someone posted a rude comment somewhere about a group not doing shows this summer, and they put some snarky comment about the vaccine. And it's like, we've been told all along it's going to take months for this to be distributed
Yeah.
widely. It's not going to just happen like that. It's going to
Yeah.
take through the summer. And, most of the performers who perform in a lot of the summer shows are younger, and they're going to be last in line to get the vaccine because they're healthy, they're younger. It's the older folks and the people who are compromised who are going to be near the top of the distribution list. So it's going to take a while for everyone to be vaccinated who is willing to be vaccinated, and I hope that's the majority. Um,
Yeah.
but in the Muni's case, for example, they've had to postpone, of course, their season again. But most people in our community won't have the vaccine until July or August,
Yeah.
especially the younger people, I'm saying. So
Yeah.
you can't really start until everyone's been properly vaccinated.
Yeah. So that's something it's one of those things we've said this whole pandemic. There are so many decisions and none of them are easy. Like none of these options are like, this is the best. There's some that are better than others, but it's one of these things where it's like, this is a tough time. There's a lot of tough decisions going on. So
Exactly.
really, yeah.
It was like I frequently will say to my family, there are bad decisions and there are worse decisions.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of good decisions to be made at the moment. You just have to go with whatever is least harmful in some cases,
Right.
and know that we are heading in the right direction, and keep that hope alive and keep doing what we're asked to do. At least that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, and that's what we hope everyone does so that we can get there. We will get there, but like we said, everyone follows the guidelines as best they can. We'll get there. So, Gus, thank you so much for joining me, and everyone make sure that you keep on your radar the Valentine's Day show that is coming up next week. Stella Cole's performances this weekend, and maybe think about supporting the Springfield Area Arts Council with their Hearts for the Arts fundraiser.
Right.
Couldn't
You
think of the
can
word.
get that great dinner. It's from Nelson's Catering, you said?
Yes.
And then you can take it home and you can watch our Valentine's Day show on Sunday night at 7.
I mean, there you go. So that's a plan. That's your plan, everybody. That's what you got to do.
That's
So,
my plan.
all right, good. Well, Gus, thank you for joining me, and we will do this again next time.
All right, Kevin, you take care. Be well.
You too.